Are you self-sufficient? Are you helpful? Are you reliable? Of course you are. And this video is to help someone who had a sibling that maybe was a special needs, or maybe you had a sibling that got too much attention more than you, right? And maybe you feel a certain way, and that's okay. This channel and this video is to help people with their mental health. A lot of people out there can't afford mental health, and we're going to have to do it on our own. I got over drug addiction, alcoholism, and so many other things, but this is going to be about you. Maybe you are self-sufficient, responsible, and helpful, but you may also struggle with mental health challenges like a lot of people. Maybe you are a perfectionist, or maybe you have the tendencies to people please and find it difficult to set boundaries. It sounds familiar, maybe. You may have grown up as a glass child. Okay, so this channel has to do with articles. All right, I helped myself and got myself off of drugs, like I mentioned, and I use articles in this channel to get my point across to help people out there that may be going through some of this, because I know I went through a lot of things. There's a lot of people who drink alcohol. There's a lot of people that do various drugs, and I was there so very long ago. So maybe growing up with a sibling who had complex needs such as chronic illness or disabilities probably meant you felt invisible to your parents. You knew your sibling needed more help than you, so you learned to take care of yourself at a very early age, and I did as well. I had to become self-reliant. I had to grow up pretty quickly, and maybe you feel that same way too. So why are we here? What is a glass child? Maybe this is you. Glass child is not a medical condition or mental health diagnosis, but a colloquial term used to describe certain challenges and strengths experienced by a child who grew up with high need siblings. Glass children learned early on in their lives to meet their own needs and express very little, right? They come across as highly mature and even-tempered. This can be a strength as grown-ups in their life tends to feel positive about their presentation. Unfortunately, this strength is also a vulnerability to a child, as it makes it hard for them to reach out when they do need support. And for many years, that was my problem. Was, hey, I don't need anybody, I can do it on my own. So my heart goes out to you, and I totally understand if you feel this way or if you are this way. So emotions, you probably have various emotions. Maybe you have some resentment. Maybe you don't know how to process that emotion, or maybe you try not to think about it. And there's nothing wrong, because you are a human being and you have feelings. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. We all have feelings. So emotions, experience of being a glass child. Angela Wu, W-U, is a life empowerment coach. Explains that a child with complex needs has the most power in the family system because they require extra attention and care. Family members will often adjust and accommodate their own schedule, habits, needs, and ways of being for the intensive needs of your brother or sister, right? So maybe you do have some resentment or guilt, and this is for you if you do have some of this. An intensive needs child can bring a lot of love and support. However, it is natural for parents or main caregivers to feel burnt out and tired, especially when they neglect their own needs or the needs of the other children. Wu adds that parents are so focused on their complex needs child that they may often forget that their other children also have needs as well. Because of this, some siblings may feel jealous or resentful, and that's okay if you did feel that way. You are not a bad person. You have to accept that you do feel that way. Maybe you need to start journaling, writing it down, get it out, put it on paper. I guarantee you, you will definitely feel better. That's all that energy that is stuck in your body that you need to get out, and you need to really deal with it, and that's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person. You just have to move forward because you are a fantastic person. So glass children may even feel guilty for having negative feelings towards their siblings. Others may try to make themselves as perfect as possible and not rock the boat to keep that peace. Impact on mental health. Adults who grew up with glass children may have perfectionistic tendencies, says Wu. Perfectionism is associated with an anxiety disorder, depression, obsessive compulsive disorder, and maybe eating disorders. Glass children may also struggle with setting boundaries, which can negatively impact their relationship and increase their stress levels. So you may be attracting certain people into your life, and most of these people will never change because you don't set boundaries. I used to have certain type of ladies in my life. They were kind of the same until I changed myself, and those type of people aren't welcome in my life. And I suggest that you do some internal work for yourself and allow yourself to feel better, even though you felt some way about your siblings receiving a lot of care. It's okay. You're a human being. The role of culture. Wu adds that culture also plays an important component in family relationships. For instance, in Asian cultures, siblings, gender, and order dictates family roles. Firstborn son and daughter may feel the additional burden of taking care of their families. Maybe this is you. I know I'm the oldest child, and this rings true to me. Traditional gender roles may cause eldest daughter to be their family caretaker, she says, as intensive needs is a taboo topic in Asian cultures. Families may feel the need to save face or hide the complex needs child due to shame. This causes family to be less likely to ask for support, putting an additional burden on the family system. Coping strategies for glass children. There are several ways to cope if you identify as a glass child. When a child has buried their needs on behalf of the family, it's important they learn how to openly express themselves, says Wu. And that is why I'm making this video, so you become aware that it's okay if you felt a certain way, okay? This can be a challenge for a glass child who has coped primarily through shrinking and minimizing their feelings and needs. This is why it's important for you to start a journal. Learn to express their needs. Hardwood suggests glass children use creative hand signs to help them communicate their needs or write their feelings in a journal. We want them to learn to take up space and reach for us even when their needs feel small in comparison with a higher needs sibling. So identify and recognize unhealthy patterns in your listening to Mario. And this is a channel where we talk about alcoholism, drug addiction, P-hub addiction, and the addiction to the female type. You know, so I went through a lot of things as a child, and I had to learn to not do certain things and how to become a better person. And I no longer drink. I no longer do drugs. I no longer womanize. So maybe this is a channel that you should subscribe to, maybe help yourself, or at least learn how to, because I did. So let's get back to the article about identifying and recognize unhealthy patterns. And maybe this will ring true with you. For those who grew up as glass children, it's crucial to recognize unhealthy behaviors such as perfectionism and people-pleasing. Some patterns include feeling the need to put themselves last. Don't do that. You are the most important thing in your life. Feeling responsible for things out of their control. Having poor boundaries. Overworking. Being overly critical of themselves. Once these behaviors and patterns that are not beneficial are identified, glass children can work towards setting boundaries, identifying and honoring their needs, developing self-affirming language, and releasing themselves from things outside of their control. This might be you. Maybe you have anxiety. Maybe you have depression, because if you have anxiety, you keep worrying about the future, tomorrow, what's going to happen, what if. If you have depression, you're stuck in the past. You're living in the past, and you're losing the beautiful moments you have every day that you're alive, because you're in the past. Trust me, it is very hard to change yourself. I do this daily, where I have to snap myself out of the way I'm thinking. Hey, you're thinking this way again. You have to just recognize that you are stuck in a pattern, a loop, if you will, and you can gain your own freedom by loving yourself. Okay, so parenting a glass child. Maybe you're a parent watching this. If you are a parent of a glass child, you may be worried that you are causing these negative experiences. It's important to recognize the needs and emotions of glass children and create a supportive and inclusive environment that provides attention, care, and resources for each child. So recognizing needs. Harwood says the first step to recognize the needs of a glass child is to take the time to check in with them. Sounds simple, but hey, we're all busy. I get it. Ask about their feelings and emotions and listen with presence and attention when they respond. Don't just blow them off, in other words. This helps them learn that they and their needs are valid and important. Pay attention to subtle cues. Harwood emphasizes the need for parents to pay attention to these subtle emotional cues of their glass children. Glass children may not express needs or in overt ways, but there are small signs that indicate emotional distress. For example, notice when they quietly leave a room or turn their faces away or down during a tense moment. The more we attune to a glass child emotional state, the more likely it will be that we start to understand what they really need. And I suggest that you do change. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to throw some cards down, and what will happen if you decide to start changing yourself today? What if you start putting yourself first? What if you start that journal? What are you going to run into? Let's check in with the tarot and see what is going on. Well, we have the 10 of Wands here, and that is a lot of burden, right? It looks like a man carrying a whole bunch of pile of sticks. That's what the 10 of Wands is. And it's about burden, heavy burdens, too much stress. Okay, what else? Maybe you have walked away from yourself or others, all right? Maybe all this stress, all these things that you're carrying made you walk away from yourself. Okay, because we have the Eight of Cups here. It's about disappointments, accepting the loss, walking away. All right, what else do we got here? Maybe you want to win at all costs. Maybe there's a parent or someone around you that wants to win at all costs. So there's burdens. You had to walk away from someone who wanted to fight all the time, because it's the Five of Swords. It's about conflict. Maybe it's the conflict you have to walk away. Maybe a loss, a disagreement, win at all costs kind of thing. Okay, what else we got? Maybe if you start journaling and you walk away from the conflict and you let some of this burden go, maybe you will start to celebrate. We have the Four of Wands here. You usually have, a couple or a friend in front of a house with Four Wands and in celebration. It's about joy, harmony, all right? Engagement, maybe a new home, a new friend, okay? So it looks like you should walk away from your burdens. And maybe you need to start looking into different priorities. Maybe you need to find balance within yourself. We have the Two of Pentacles here, right? Multiple priorities, time management. Maybe you need to find, maybe you're weighing decisions or options. So we have the Ten of Wands. You need to walk away from that. You need to put it down. You need to stop maybe fighting yourself. And you need to get into a more cheerful existence with the Four of Wands. And the Two of Pentacles has to do with money, choices. Maybe you're trying to find a different way of handling your life now, right? Let's see what else we got. Yeah, maybe you should start looking into, maybe you should start reading. Maybe you should start journaling. We have the Page of Swords here. It's about new ideas. A thirst for knowledge, restless, information. Okay, what else we got? Maybe we have the Six of Pentacles here. So far we have, maybe you are carrying too much. You need to walk away. Maybe you need to stop fighting yourself or others. And if you do, you will start being happier. Celebration, maybe changing, maybe turning a new leaf with the Two of Pentacles. And maybe you need to start reading or learning something else. We have the Six of Pentacles here. It's about balance, give and take. Maybe, this will help you in your relationship, or maybe this will help you being good to yourself, because maybe you experienced, we have the Ten of Swords, maybe you experience painful endings, deep ruin, a deep wound. Maybe someone wounded you very deeply. Maybe your parents, maybe yourself, maybe a loved one. Maybe you need to start with changing your life and maybe start a business or get to work or start a new job or having more discipline for comfort. And maybe we have the Nine of Wands here. You're a warrior. You've been through it all. It's weird because we started with the Ten of Wands and we ended with the Nine of Wands. So what does that mean? That means if you follow this, you will do better. What do I mean? You need to put down your burdens. You need to walk away from that, because you need to cut it out. You don't need to fight yourself anymore, because this will help you celebrate, feel happier, lighten your load. You have some decisions, some balancing issues that you need to fix, and you need to learn or reroute. This will bring balance with the Six of Pentacles. And maybe you need to let go of a betrayal. Maybe a business or a leader or someone did this, and you need to move forward with confidence and comfort and discipline. Maybe you should start that journal. And the Nine of Wands is courage, persistence. And that is your reading for today. And I hope that this helped you, because I make these videos for you to just be aware that maybe there are some things that we all need to change, because the way the world is right now, we're all going a little crazy. And this is Mario, and I will see you in a later video.